This video is intended to serve as a brief overview of the various organ systems of the human body. Let's start first with the integumentary system. I will note that in the AMP1 course you take, you will very likely spend time looking at the lower levels of structural hierarchy before you get to the organ systems. You should spend quite a bit of time looking through characteristics of the different types of tissues and possibly even looking at the cells in different parts of the cell. But let's jump in and do an overview first of the integumentary system. The integumentary system is composed most importantly of the skin, but it also includes the hair, nails, and cutaneous glands. You could probably identify some of the functions of the integumentary system simply by thinking about what you know your skin does for you. Your skin protects you from the external environment. It allows you to keep the appropriate amounts of water in your body. Your skin is responsible for sweating, which is important in thermoregulation, keeping your body temperature correct. What you may not immediately associate as a function of the integumentary system is the production of vitamin D. Our skin cells produce a precursor to vitamin D when our skin is exposed to the sunlight that allows us to convert that cholecalciferol into vitamin D. Skin is also important for cutaneous sensation. Even your hair is helpful with this. Think about things like your eyelashes. You know to blink your eyes when something touches your eyelashes as a way to protect and keep something from getting into your eye. So just small, important parts of sensation that you may not even contribute to your skin and hair does actually belong, credit-wise, to your integumentary system. Next is the skeletal system. Again, we probably immediately think of bones when we hear skeletal system. But your skeletal system is also composed of cartilage as well as the ligaments that help keep your bones and cartilages connected together and having that structure that we need. The important functions of your skeletal system are support as well as movement. Your muscles must have a lever, something to grab a hold of in order to produce movement, and your bones provide that. Your bones are protective of certain organs. Think about why you have your rib cage. What organs are underneath your ribs? Essential organs such as your heart, your lungs. They have that nice hard protective coating surrounding them. Lesser known functions of the bones and skeletal system are things such as the location where blood is formed. Certain blood cells are formed within your bones. We store minerals. You may think of one that you know of. We store minerals such as calcium in our bones. And since we store some minerals in our bones, that is also a site where we have an electrolyte balance as well as an acid-base balance. Next, the muscular system is composed primarily of your skeletal muscles. Your skeletal muscles are responsible for movement, stability, and communication. We have certain circular muscles specifically that control our body openings. And your muscles are also key for heat production. The lymphatic system is typically a lesser understood system for students entering an AMP course. The important organs of the lymphatic system are primarily your lymph nodes, but also your lymphatic vessels, your thymus, spleen, and tonsils. The most important functions of your lymphatic system are to recover excess fluid. Excess water that is produced in the periphery of the body is pulled through the lymphatic vessels and ultimately dumped into the cardiovascular system, where excess water can be then transferred into the urinary system for excretion. As someone who also enjoys teaching microbiology, I can tell you that it's very interesting to look at the ability of the lymphatic system to detect pathogens. Things such as your lymph nodes might swell when you get sick. Those lymph nodes swell because their job is to detect and filter and catch those pathogens, those bacteria, those viruses that are not supposed to be there. And within those lymphatic system organs, we produce immune system cells that can actually destroy those pathogens. So these two functions working together help to defend our body against disease. So try not to think of the lymphatic system just as a collection of tubes that get water out for you. As all of that water is moving, it's filtered, and your lymphatic system is constantly checking, looking for pathogens that aren't supposed to be there. The respiratory system is composed primarily of our lungs, is what we think of. But the respiratory system has many other organs that allow air to reach the lungs and then have a passageway to expel. So air enters through the nose, through the pharynx, larynx, trachea, into the bronchi, and ultimately into the lungs. Your respiratory system is responsible for taking oxygen from the air that is breathed in and allowing it to transport into your blood. It is also responsible for allowing carbon dioxide waste to leave your blood, enter into the lungs, and then be expelled out of the body. In your future, one day you will take a biochemistry course, and you can spend a lot of time looking at how the respiratory system helps to control the acid-base balance, or pH. The respiratory system is important for speech. If you think about it, to speak, you typically take a breath in and breathe out. That's part of your ability to speak. The urinary system is composed of your kidneys, ureters, urinary bladder, and urethra. Within your urinary system, urine begins to be produced in the kidneys. It then travels through ureters, temporarily storing in the bladder until it is excreted via the urethra out of the body. The purpose of producing this urine is to eliminate waste products, to eliminate excess water to help regulate your blood volume and blood pressure. It's also important for stimulating red blood cell formation, controlling your overall fluid and electrolyte as well as pH balance, and detoxifying blood fluids. As a physician or nurse or anyone working in the healthcare field, very often one of the things you will do for your patients is take a urine sample. If something is not working properly in the body, some things will be excreted through the urine as your body's way of trying to detoxify, and so you can use that to help diagnose. The nervous system is composed of the brain, spinal cord, nerves, and ganglia. The nervous system is responsible for rapid internal communication. Your nervous system coordinates all functions of your body by receiving information and then determining the proper output to send messages throughout the body. The endocrine system, if you look at this picture, does not look very complicated, but it is incredibly complicated. The endocrine system produces hormones and helps your nervous system communicate to determine what the proper functions of every single portion of your body need to be. You have various organs that belong in the endocrine system. Your pituitary gland is near your brain. Your pineal gland is as well. Your thymus is here in the mediastinum. The parathyroid is near your thyroid gland, so this is the thyroid, and the parathyroids are just around it. Your adrenal glands sit on top of your kidneys. The pancreas sits on top of your stomach. And then you have testes and ovaries. I drew that other arrow in the wrong place. This would be your ovaries in this female. So up here would be the adrenal glands. The circulatory system is composed of the heart and blood vessels. The blood vessels and heart work together to produce enough pressure to distribute nutrients, oxygen, waste, hormones, electrolytes, all throughout the body. It also distributes our immune system cells and antibodies. This makes the circulatory system seem very simple. Again, kind of similar to what we saw with the lymphatic system. But it's much, much more than just a highway, allowing blood to travel through. It is highly regulated what moves through that circulatory system. The digestive system is composed of quite a few different organs that work together to break down our food, allow us to absorb the nutrients from our food. It's also important in making some of our blood proteins, disposing of drugs and toxins. This is going to be primarily a function of the liver. And then cleaning our blood is also part of the liver's job. So when we ingest food, it goes through our mouth. We masticate our food with our teeth and tongue. Salivary glands produce saliva. And then food travels down the esophagus into the stomach where we begin digesting. As food leaves the stomach and jumps into the small intestine, that's when the gallbladder and the liver will secrete some helpers into the function of breaking down the food. The food sources and nutrients then travel through the small intestine where the nutrients are absorbed, and then we continue absorbing water primarily as the food stuff moves through our large intestine until the waste is released. The reproductive system has the function of helping to produce offspring. The male reproductive system has organs such as the testes here. So testes produce sperm. The sperm then travel through the epididymis, up through various ducts until ultimately excreted via the penis. The overall function specifically of the male reproductive system is to produce and deliver sperm. Another function of the male reproductive system is to produce the male sex hormones. The primary male sex hormone is testosterone, but there are others. Female reproductive system, the eggs are produced here in the ovaries, travel through, again, a system of ducts known as the uterine or fallopian tubes into the uterus. Within the uterus is where a baby will grow. If fertilization does not happen, eggs are released via the vagina. Females also have mammary glands capable of producing milk. So if we look at the primary functions of the female reproductive system, we're producing eggs and allowing a site for the egg and sperm to fertilize within the uterus and the baby to develop. Lactation or production of milk occurs after birth. And then the female also has specific sex hormones that are produced within the reproductive system. Again, there's multiple, but just to mention a few, females produce estrogen and progesterone. Again, the purpose of this video was to provide a very brief overview of the organs of each organ system with a list of the primary functions.